Today, I'm bringing y'all along to check out a new feature that will best help us compare these two cars on track. Yes, I'm of the opinion that the 4RS with a few mods can punch above its weight, but can it compete at all with Porsche's big dog, the 3RS? I shared this overlay with some of my friends and a lot said the video got their blood pumping. So let's get into it. In one of our previous videos, Jorge went ahead and compared his findings in the 3RS after having driven the GT4 for a good bit at different tracks. The video got a lot of mixed comments as it's hard to compare a GT4 to a 3RS simply because they are two cars of different calibers and price ranges. But Jorge was simply sharing his experience and knowledge after driving both. One of you commented, "Too bad you couldn't compare a GT4 RS to GT3 RS. This we have already done in detail and with data, but not like today's video. We will leave these two links in case you want to check either video out. For all those of you who are new to the channel, we do have a build video where we mention all the mods we have done to our 4RS. To keep it brief, the car is what we're calling OEM plus spec, still has stock shocks, some wing risers, and an over-axle pipe. We also threw some suspension components at it to make it adjustable and paired that with an aggressive alignment and sticky rubber. Our 3RS carries a similar recipe: cage, harnesses, V-box, and some suspension components to get to the numbers we want comfortably in the front end. The car is still on street rubber and has a full exhaust from our friends over at Dundon. Matter of fact, if you want to see a build video on it, leave a comment down below and we'll make it happen. Keep in mind, I had been driving the 4RS for almost a year and a half before I got into the 216s at COTA. In that span, there was a lot of tweaking and trying new things with the setup to get the car to where I was somewhat happy with it. This car still happens to be the quickest 4RS at COTA in a vast sea of modified ones. Also, to consider is that it was only my third or fourth time ever in the 3RS. The car had dead street tires on it and my quickest lap with this car was in lap 7 of an afternoon session. In a similar setup car, I have seen someone go a few tenths quicker, but still, this 3RS lap is on par with its potential. If I am honest, I do believe there is about a second of lap time left in the 3RS and maybe a few tenths in the 4RS. I know y'all want to get into the meat and potatoes, but before we do, let me just give you some insight. In the upcoming video, the GT3 RS will be displayed with a red car and the GT4 RS will be displayed in blue. Right off the bat, you will find a disparity in racing line, and that is because both of our cars have their satellite antennas on opposite sides. Previous to this feature that I'm going to show you, there really was no need to center the antennas, but now it's a must. So just keep that in mind, since the GT3 RS has the antenna on the right side instead of center, the car will look like it's too far right on the map. Now the 4RS has the antenna on the left side, so the car will always be too far left. You will notice it very quickly on the onboard that we are keeping both cars on track. For the comparison, I ran a 216.95 in the 4RS and a 215.75 in the 3RS. At COTA, we're starting at the front straight, start finish. The red car is falling a little bit back, but I brake a little bit later, and that does cause me to not be as early on throttle, so the 3RS is falling back here, but the 3RS has so much aero that down to it just rips, right? You gain a ton of aero because midway through to you're like in the 90s. We're sending it into the S's, and the 3RS should shine here, right? But the orange car is very gripped up on those Hankook slicks. Anything above aero, so that area is like 76, so aero is definitely coming into play here. I do believe it's purely mechanical because we're going around 50 miles an hour. So the cars look pretty even. Anytime it gets to laying down the power, that 3RS just puts it down. The car does have a little bit more horsepower, but you're going to see that I'm a little more confident in the brakes in the 4RS because I've been driving it forever. And again, it has a mechanical grip off the rip, and you keep that mechanical grip to the apex versus the 3RS that you hit the brake pedal at 150. It slows down, but then it becomes a car with just street tires. So here on the back street, you saw that the 3RS gapped it, but then the 4RS is inching back at it. Now, we go to turn 12. Again, I'm gonna get close in the 4RS to my lap in the 3RS. but when it gets time to put it down, there's a little bit of a gap. Again, we're gonna see the same here. Pretty similar lines if you look at the top section, maybe half a car away from each other. And obviously, like I said, I've been driving the 4RS for a while, so I'm definitely more comfortable kind of sending it in that car. The 3RS, and you're gonna see here through the carousel, or you're gonna hear it, where I'm like, throttle on, throttle off, is just to try to get the car to turn, as I feel it has a lot of push in it. Push is safe, but only to an extent. There's still a lot of room left at track out of the carousel, so I need to work on rolling throttle earlier. Great line through there with both. Again, 4RS is going to close that gap right there into turn 20. But as soon as it's time to lay the power down on the front straight, that 3RS just puts it down on exit, and the gap just continues to grow. GT3 RS, which is a 215.75. Down here, we have a histogram that basically shows delta from one car to the other. So as you can see, the line here, it goes up and down, but it's pretty positive. So there's just what that means is that, yes, the 4RS is losing lap time continuously to the 3RS throughout the entire lap. It's not just like they were neck and neck and I threw away turn 19 and that's how one of the cars won. No, this shows that overall the car is just a little bit better everywhere. Now, if you are one of those that thinks this comparison isn't fair because the 4RS is on sticky rubber, let me slow it down a little by putting it on grooved rubber like the 3RS. The next video, you will see the 4RS on Hoosier Track Attack 200 treadwear tires that are more like 40 treadwear, and the same 3RS on board where it's on OEM Goodyear Eagle F1s that are 60 treadwear. In my opinion, each of these tires is the best or fastest option on hand for these cars. Here, the gap is a little larger at 2.3 seconds, as my best in the 4RS with those tires is a 2:18.06. Let's check this one out. Okay, so start finish. Again, 4RS ripping up on the 3RS, a little bit breaker. A little bit later braking in the 3RS. Kind of didn't get early on power in the 3RS, but I know I'm gonna make up the time. Yep, there you go, through 2, because we're going about a buck 100, 105 through 2. So the car definitely has aero. As you see here, the gap starts growing, and the 3RS is just gonna start pulling away slowly. It's gonna start inching at it, or by foot. A little bit bigger gap here. Now we're starting to see 3 or 4 car lanes. Here we power out of 9 and they should stay somewhat similar. Not really, because the 3RS is gonna have that DRS button and obviously has a little bit more horsepower, right? Taking a tighter line through with the 4RS, having all the rotation, or doing all the rotation at apex. Here on the back straight, we're probably going to see the 3RS gap grow, but then it's going to stop because the 4RS has a decent top end since it's a narrower car. Yeah, so they're staying about even right here. Going to close the gap in the 4RS just because I have more seat time in that car. Sending it in both cars. I think this is a pretty awesome view here. We only have probably about 4 or 5 cars, and obviously it bunches up on the slow speed stuff just because we spend more time in the slow speed stuff. Here, 4RS is going out of frame. Come on, catch up. Both have good track outs, and again, if you want to reference the video up top that we're actually staying on track, please feel free to play back and do so. Here, the lap just continues growing. Again, it is a high speed section at about 100, so you're going to see a decent gap. 3RS super settled through here. The 4RS pretty sendy. And here, this is when you start seeing bus lanes between the cars, and this is just over 1 lap. And that's what I want you guys to be aware of, all right? Why I feel this is so important. And the gap just keeps on growing and growing. I guess the question still stands. Which car do you think is best for the money, as there is about a $150,000 difference between them? Is 1 second of lap time gain worth $65,000 to you? Having driven both, I also want to share how consistently they perform. 4RS owners, please don't kill me, but I see the 4RS as a 1 lap wonder. The weather, car setup, tires, and stars have to align to be able to set a flyer. This is unlike the 3RS, where on a hot day and deep into the session, you are still able to put down some heaters. In the 4RS, I feel I'm having to wrangle the car and just deal with its unpredictability, while the 3RS opens the door and invites me to push it harder and harder, all while the lap timer lights up green. For all those of you who stayed until the end, thank you for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel for similar content and share this video with your track buddies who still debate this topic. Whether this helps or not, I am unsure. Anyways, I'll see you guys at the racetrack.